Welcome to Your Bookkeeping Matters. I'm your host, Lisa Turner, a professional bookkeeper, registered BAS agent, and your small business cheerleader and mentor. I'm also a wife and mum to two little people. This podcast is for small business owners who want to manage their numbers the right way. It will be short and sweet episodes each week on business and bookkeeping matters in an easy to understand way with real quick tips or changes you can put in place, having a huge positive impact at the same time up-leveling yourself, so you can be in control and confident that you know your bookkeeping matters. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hello there. I get asked a lot, why aren't I making any profit in my business? Because there is absolutely no doubt that running a small business is a really hard work. So you want to see some profit at the end of the day, right? But even with all the challenges of running your own small business, there are some really simple steps that you can take to help boost your bottom line. So today, on Your Bookkeeping Matters, I'm going to share with you some of the ones that I've used along the way and helped my clients to put into place. So listen in, I promise you won't be disappointed. Before we dive in, a couple of things that I wanted to mention. That this is not about scaling or reaching those 5, 6, or 7 figures. It's simply growing what you have to what you want it to be and making sure it's profitable. And that looks different for everyone. Also, this is not just about increasing sales and making the same or less profit than you already were. Because you often hear of people doubling their income or huge sales months, but that's not what I want to focus on. It's about increasing and improving your profit, or at least making sure when sales are increasing, so does the profit. Okay, one big step that you can take is to niche or specialize. And let me share with you how I did that so that you can get a really good feel of how you can niche in your business. First of all, I stopped and had a look at all the services that I offered and the clients that I was working with so that I could really narrow down exactly who and what I wanted to work with. Because when I first started out, I worked with everyone who asked me to, no matter what software they were on and no matter what their business was. I did know that being all things to all people was limiting my sales and, of course, my profit, because I was spending so much time keeping up with so many different industries, 4 different software packages, and loads of different tech stacks that it wasn't giving me the chance to streamline anything internally or to make it quicker and easier or more efficient, simply because I didn't have the time. I was always chasing myself. By the time I learned one change from one software and something in another had changed, it was time to learn the next thing. So I didn't really get to streamline anything or make anything more efficient in my own business. Of course, all those things were really easy to learn, but it all added up and took time away from actually working with and serving my clients. So my first decision to make was which accounting software would be my go-to. And that, of course, was a no-brainer, Xero. I became a Xero-only practice and I was instantly able to set up all my own internal processes to be the same across the board. And it was actually a relief to not having to be keeping up with every single thing. And no disrespect at all to the other packages. They all generally do the same thing, just in a different way. It's just that Xero isn't my personal favorite. The second part to that was which industries or types of business did I truly enjoy working with and what really lights me up. Because again, trying to help everyone doesn't actually help anyone. So I decided Accounted for You, my business, would support women in business, which then has over the years evolved into supporting female-led businesses in e-commerce, creatives, and service-based small businesses. And with that, there are so many things involved when you're ready to really dial in who you work with and the messaging, your branding, your website, everything. So my advice to you on that one is to outsource. I sure did. And I know that kind of contradicts that we're talking about being more profitable, but most times you have to spend money to make money. So by niching down to be a zero-only accounting software practice and only working with female-led businesses in those particular areas, I've attracted more of exactly those small businesses and so increased my sales. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Now, how does that increase my profit? Well, most sales are generally more profit in service-based, and because I was spending less time trying to talk to everyone about everything, I was then able to streamline my own processes. I was able to perfect my own internal tech stack to manage everything, meaning I didn't have to increase costs for the extra work. And now that I was working with my perfect ideal clients, everything flowed better. Serving my clients, my productivity, the value provided to them, and so much more. It's just a win-win all around when you niche for you and your clients. Now, don't start stressing if you're in your early days and taking on any and all clients and customers that come to you, because that is completely normal when you're starting out to do all the things because you're new to running your own show and getting your name out there. Plus, in the start, it can actually be a good thing and help you to learn which parts that you love best so that when you do niche down or specialize, you know where you want to be. Now, the last thing on niching, if you're thinking, I can't do that. What if my ideal client comes along and they're on a different sales platform to my chosen one, or they want their website built on a different platform, or they really want to buy this other product through my shop? Well, niching doesn't mean that you can't work with them or stock that special item. It just means that all your marketing and messaging and your processes are to your niche and you know who you want to work with. So you can still say yes to anyone that fits in the rest with your business ethos. The next step, which for me was tied to this niching and rebranding, was that I reviewed and completely restructured all my packages. Now, you don't need to be rebranding to switch up your niche or rejig your packages and your offerings. You can do this anytime. And in fact, I really encourage you that you should review this quite regularly. I started out trading time for money and I was billing by the hour, and the faster I was getting the work done, the less I was earning. It's crazy, isn't it? So I went and got more clients, and then the revenue and the profit went back up slightly, but my hours were ridiculous. Why should someone pay me less to do something because I'm better at my job? Or why should they pay someone else more because they're slower? And you can definitely cover that by charging a higher hourly rate the more experienced you are. But I decided as part of my rejig, I moved away from the time billing and created value packages where the client gets all the work done and they're charged a monthly retainer for all the tasks for their business needs. So they're paying for the service, the support, and the value I provide them, not the minutes spent doing the thing. It also helps them. They know their monthly cost, and I know my revenue, and everyone can plan their cash flow. A lot of calculation and deliberation went into these, and I mean a lot, because I didn't want anyone to feel like they weren't getting the value for the packages. I also reviewed all my operating costs and took those into account as well. Just because I'm service-based doesn't mean I have any costs. I actually have a lot. Software, training, my phone, computer. There are so many costs associated with service-based as well. We could talk for hours on pricing and still not be finished. And that's because there are a lot of moving parts. And like I said, you should always regularly review your pricing, no matter if you're service or product-based. The point I'm making here is that reviewing and redoing my pricing packages to be more reflective of what was involved was a really simple step to move my business to be more profitable. Now, if you're product-based, simply reviewing your sales prices and your costs, and I mean really dive into your costs, could transform both your revenue and your profit, because you would be surprised how many clients that I've helped review their pricing and what they thought was profitable wasn't even close. They were only breaking even, or even worse, losing money, because they didn't look at all their costs. So please do a regular pricing review to make sure you're profitable. Okay, now we have one, niched by narrowing down the platforms that we work with and by the clients we specialize in. And we have also restructured and reviewed our pricing. The next step I want to share with you today was a simple one for me, because I was fresh out of time. I was maxed out and exhausted. I physically could not take on any more work, let alone have a sick day or take a holiday. So I made the business decision to grow, and I hired a team member. It sounds counterintuitive, right? Hiring someone costs money. It's not making you more profit. And this step might not be for everyone, and there are lots of different ways to do it. I chose to put on an employee bookkeeper, and you might choose to put on a casual design assistant for your creative business, or a part-time packer for your e-commerce business. But what that meant for me was I was available to take on and support new clients. My costs did increase with the wages, but so did my revenue. And because I'd already done the work on my pricing, any new work coming in I knew would be profitable. Now, you will reach a point when trying to grow that you have to decide, okay, that is it for me. I'm booked out here, I'm done. Or I'm stocking and selling as much product as I can, and I'm not going to grow any further. Or do you take the next step and bring on some help? Of course, I looked at it from many different angles, but decided because more clients still wanted me to help them, well, then I was going to take the leap and grow to support them. And the last step that I'll touch on today is, being the number cruncher that I am, is of course to review all your expenses. For me, I looked at things like, did I really need that subscription? Was I on the right level of that software plan? Was that purchase in my budget? Did I need to cut costs anywhere? And these are all things that I could only look at because my bookkeeping was, of course, up to date and accurate. So when you're looking to grow and make business decisions, it's crucial that your numbers are up to date for you to lean on to make those decisions because, well, as you know, your bookkeeping matters. Now, I did not spend loads of time reviewing or trying to cut costs to increase my profits because for me, those costs that I do have are to give next level premium support to my clients or to automate something. And if I cut those costs, it would have a negative impact in other areas, such as taking longer to do things, or my clients would have to do things the long way for us, which I was not going to ask them to do. And so because my bookkeeping is always up to date and I always know my expenses are sitting where they need to be and where I planned for them to be, my approach when trying to improve profitability or increase income is not to cut costs unnecessarily, but to look at other areas for improvement. So there you have it. Some really simple steps to increase profit and how I did them in my business so that you can easily implement them in your small business. 1, niche, narrow down the services you offer and the clients that you work with. 2, review and restructure your pricing. 3, hire a team member. And 4, review your expenses for anything unnecessary. Just like anything in your small business, make sure that you research and decide what is best for you. And if you need help or individual advice, reach out to your professional like your trusty bookkeeper. Now, there are so many other things that I still work on. I'm always learning and growing and looking for better ways to both help my business and our clients. I did and still do a lot of work on my money mindset, and I outsource a lot of things now that I don't need to do myself. I've also introduced a digital course, Power in Numbers, and e-products that I sell online, training videos and downloads, which you can check out in the course or the shop section on my website, and those are linked in the show notes, of course. So they're all a few other little steps that I've taken to increase profits. But that's it for me today. If you're looking to grow and improve your profit, I hope these insights from my own personal experience are super helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and please leave a review to help more owners grow and learn also. Thanks for popping me in your ears, and I'm looking forward to catching you next week with some payroll matters for you to snack on. Thanks.